Welcome, race fans, to a brand new season here at Deviant Racing. This is the second tier GTD racing for the GT World Challenge here at Deviant Racing. My name is Webbo, here to join you for the racing as we often do here. It's the start of season 4.2, a 7-race championship as usual. And we have new teams and new cars and lots of new liveries to enjoy as well. And thank you so much to everyone who has found their way to the race so far. Do say hello if you have just joined us, and be part of today's broadcast if you so wish. It is the new team Wunderfert who are racing the Audi R8, and that they are fielding Izzy and Dollars per win. Next up comes Team NASCAR in the Nissan GTR Nismo, and they are their drivers are Ozzy and Saito. Bongit and Dirksey will be driving for Team Pollo Loco in the Honda NSX, and Team Builder in the Lamborghini Huracan, represented by Thrasher and by Kuros Kai. Newcomer Creamy and Jim are racing for Team Sony Interactive, the Peugeot RCZ, one of the ugliest cars in my opinion anyway, in Gran Turismo racing, and they are racing together for the first time. We also have in a full-time seat at the start of the season in 404 Motorsport, Mr. Fish and Siam driving the Mercedes AMG. Team Predator, the final team in the selection, who are driving the Ferrari 458, so look to them from those grid start launches from Huge Jar and from Sully. This is how the calendar looks. If I can get to it, excuse me a moment. I need to rename my scenes a bit better than I have done already. I think it's this one: Interlagos, Fuji, Tokyo South, Trial Mountain, Deep Forest, Dragon Trail, and Brands Hatch, the circuits for this upcoming season of our great racing. So let's go trackside, where we can see the start of proceedings for qualifying just underway. It has only just begun, and I think we haven't yet had the drivers start their qualifying laps. I think, I was trying to display driver names there for a moment. Huge Jar is the first driver out in the Ferrari here. So able to get a good clear track. You can tell the GTDs apart from the GTD Pros because they wear the green Deviant Racing stickers, and we'll join him on what I hope to be his first flying lap. Out the back, nobody bothering him at all as we head on out of Yonsao corner and up the hill then to go for the first of the flying laps. Full fuel on board at the moment on the soft tyres. Racing mediums and hards will be used for the race, and we will have a safety car period as well. Not quite sure why we went right next to the pit wall there on our outlap, but we did, as Huge Jar goes down into Curva 1 through the S del Sena and into Curva del Sol, and looking for a good clear track and good open racetrack in front of him. It's a perfect afternoon to race here in Interlagos. We also went into having full-on sunset and almost pitch black night conditions in the GTD Pro. Whether that will be the same here for the GTDs remains to be seen, but the sky looking a little bit clearer than perhaps it did earlier on. It's an westerly 3.6 meters per second wind at the moment, as we get a big old tank slapper on our lap, and unfortunately that is the lap done for then for Huge Jar out in the front of the proceedings. So not exactly what he was hoping for, as we go onto the Audi then for Team Wunderfert, and I will perhaps leave the Audi livery as a surprise for when we actually get in towards the racing. This is going through the Vico di Pato, Duck's Beak corner, before turning left into Mergulo. This is one of those corners that really punishes the right-hand side of the car and the tyre wear, and it'll depend on your engine orientation in the car as to whether your front right or your rear right is the most worn tyre on the car, and the one you need to protect the most come race time. Out of Yonsao then, the final braking moment on the track. This is Subida dos Box heading up past the pit lane entry as we head it over the hill, and we get a 1:34.254 to start off. Bongit though beats that by nearly 9/10 of a second out there with a tremendous line. How astonishing will this lap be for the named driver then in P3? He goes 2.9 seconds off the fastest time. Jim will be hoping to start the season strong, I'm sure, into P3. 2.2 seconds though still away from the driver on pole position. Sully goes into 5th place as we see Huge Dart going along in 8th position, 9th position now as Sim goes 8th. We've got Creamy here. Unfortunately, looks like his livery may not have come through in the Sony Interactive. Not much I can do about it right now, unfortunately. There, I did reset the liveries for everybody. Looks like Aussie then heading in 12th place, still on his outlap as things stand. But Bonget is the fastest, and we'll join him halfway round his second flyer into Pico di Pato. After McGee, we get an update on his lap progress here. Bonget driving for Team Pollo Loco in the Honda NSX Group 3, and he's 4.5 tenths faster than even he has been before. Mr. Fish got into 2nd place, but Bonget on target to drop to possibly a further second lower than the 33.397 he managed on his first flying lap. As the fuel starts to burn off, the final laps will be the very best on average across the line. That's 4 tenths improvement, a 32.989 from Bonget, as Mr. Fish has to try and answer that. Mr. Fish driving for Team 404 Motorsport. Personal best from him. It's not purple though, as we pass the exit of Yun Sao. Looks like Jim has set a personal best and gone 6th as we head up the hill then on board with Mr. Fish in that Mercedes AMG with a huge nose section up and over and back into 2nd place, but still nearly 5 tenths of a second away from Bonket out there. Fortunately for him, Thrasher though looks like he's got the chance of a good slipstream on the back of Kuros Kai, who was very active in our live chat earlier on. And we crunch down the gears into Decido de Lago on board with Thrasher. And Thrasher is doing a great job here. Do say hello if you're watching us on live stream here, to make sure that you feel part of today's broadcast and can contribute wherever possible. This is a lap on board with Thrasher, who is racing the Lamborghini this season for Team Builder Racing. That's Builder without an E. I'm hoping I can still pronounce it Builder rather than Builder. But we will await any feedback from our teams later on. Here we go for Thrasher then, 2 seconds slower. I feel might be heading in towards the pit lane. But Canada is now leading the team of Americans here today. So I don't know how everyone will be feeling about that, but Bonget is a very quick driver, no doubt. Into the pit lane comes Huge Dart. Or was that Thrasher, I think, actually. Here is Bonget then, racing for Team Pollo Loco. Quite sure what the livery is just yet, but we will have a really good inspection of liveries later on. We are expecting a safety car period, a caution period today. See, Thrasher has burned off to 80 litres of fuel. Mr. Fish has refueled for his next run, which has to be a bit of a confusing strategic option to make the car voluntarily heavier through qualifying. An update on Bonget's lap, and he's slightly slower, but that is recoverable in this one final braking zone in the final sector then. But he may feel that it's another 1:33 on the cards with a fuel wear portion now down to 75% into the pits for a new set of boots with 8 minutes having elapsed of the 10. Mr. Fish back out with a full tank of fuel and a brand new set of tyres. Maybe he prefers the balance of the Mercedes on a full tank of fuel, given that the engine sits towards the front axle, but actually the bulk of the weight slightly behind the front axle, and the fuel tank will naturally be on the rear of the car, but unfortunately the rear getting away from him there. Can he recover this in time to start his next lap? Visibility is severely compromised out the back of the Mercedes, and he has damaged the front, the rear right and the rear of the car heading into the barrier there. This is tying both hands behind his back, I think, here to try and get in on the action in this final flying lap. I think this will be, confirm that the checkered flag will be crossed before he starts another one. This is the final attempt then for Mr. Fish. Where is Izzy on track? Let's see. As he comes through, he's halfway round the circuit at the moment, Izzy, in P3. Bongit has exited the pits and will be back out there to try and go again. And here we have Mr. Fish as he exits out of Curva del Sol. He has a car coming out in front of him who is going to struggle to make it round to start a hot lap. But Mr. Fish has a purple first sector. Talk about recovery. This is flying from Mr. Fish here. And I think he will be the first of our front runners to finish qualifying. He has a car in front of him that is going to bother him slightly, I think, at this stage. Through La Ranjina in towards the SA corner. It's a long middle sector of the racetrack. Interesting matching suit, I think, here to portions of his car's bonnet livery. Heading down for the right-hander then of SA corner. Could be translated to mean that corner. Then into Mergulio and Yun Sao. The lap getting away from him slightly here. Perhaps the fuel load really taking effect, but he'll be hoping that the slipstream helps him up the hill. I think it's slightly too far away. The car in front as we head up. The car came out of the pits and pitted again just to spoil Mr. Fish's lap potentially. Heading across the line goes Mr. Fish, and it was not an improvement in the end. Bongit won't make it round. Here is Izzy on his final lap. We'll join him on board as Astonishing sets a new fastest lap record for himself only. Hi to everybody, to Red, Roy and to Zen here, who are joining us, at least in the live chat anyway. I know we've got more viewers with us at the moment live. But those three, the first to say hello, and getting a personal best sector for Izzy. Now that is almost enough to get onto the front row of our grid here. Izzy, one of our VR drivers, and he fires out of Yun Sao, heads up the hill, and he will be hoping in the Team Wunderfahrt Audi R8 to get himself onto the front row of the grid. Doesn't hook the pit wall and misses out by 24 thousandths of a second in the end. That was crazy finish. Huge jump into 5th, Aussie into 6th at the moment. Then you get Creamy going into 4th place at the very end of proceedings. Creamy getting himself onto the second row of the grid. We've got Aussie in 7th, Siam in 8th, Astonishing, Gyros Kai Sully, Jim, Chaotica is driving our our safety car today, but Bongit it is who satisfies the new team sponsors here for Team Pollo Loco, Jollibee with the sponsorship. And here then are your standings for the end of qualifying. The only driver into the 1:32 mark was Bongit, the Canadian, in his national colours actually, with a fastest lap of a 32.989. Mr. Fish half a second back in qualifying trim in the Mercedes AMG, in P2, with Izzy in the Audi P3. Creamy brings his Peugeot to P4, and Thrasher takes the Lamborghini Huracan into 5th place. Huge Jar in 6th, Aussie in 7th, and Siam in 8th. We have Astonishing in 9th, Kuros Kai in 10th. Sully and Jim share the back row of the grid for a 12-car field only today, and Chaotica will be driving our Toyota safety car, the Crown Athlete G safety car, for the first time this season. Floody cheering on Audi. I think Audi is winning some new fans with its choice of livery. I hope everybody has enjoyed the off-season, got plenty of practice in. There we go. Roy cheering on Wunderfahrt for the win. For the win. I don't know, that might be a little bit offensive to Red watching, who is German, and I appreciate. So safety car lap 17 says Chaotica, so that's very good to hear. So thank you to Chaotica for the information. And a little bit earlier than the GTD Pro drivers managed. I won't spoil the GTD Pro race because I know many of you were practicing prior to entering this race or watching this race and then go back and watch the previous one. But I would say that the GTD races typically pick up a bigger audience than the GTD Pro over the course of the 2-week cycle. Jane is here for Mr. Fish. Mr. Fish, possibly slightly disappointing with the delta between himself and Bongit, but it looks like it's going to be a close one, certainly between himself and Izzy. And Caitlin cheering on Mr. Fish. We need those fish emojis, as Jane has remembered, for Mr. Fish. And just to let you know that you can join the channel now as a member, or you can leave your thanks in the form of a tip. But please make sure that you've liked and subscribed today, and find your way over to Deviant Racing 9989 channel, and make sure you do that. You do the subscription over there as well. Some great output, including a podcast, some beer carts, some great stuff. They do a Drink with a Driver podcast on the YouTube channel as well. So make sure that you check that out. I hope we're going to get going very soon because I have a follow-on race with SBR to call at Daytona straight after this race. Plenty of fish from Caitlin, and Gareth saying, or Lareth saying, that Mr. Fish better win on his new rig. So let's hear. Red says, I love hearing people try to speak German. Okay, thanks, Red. I'll do my best, but just don't quote me. I had to call a Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit race with a German as co-commentator a few weeks ago. That was certainly eye-opening for me. Anyway, here we go then. We're getting ready for the start of our season opener here at GTD. With the Interlagos season 4.2 first race of the season. It's time to go racing though. The talking's done. And it's dropped the clutch and go. Look at the Ferrari, the red Ferrari of Huge Jar jumping up into at least a row gained, if not 2 rows gained at the start as he goes round the outside of the Wunderfeld racer and Siam down the inside in the Mercedes as well. But it's Huge Jar throwing it away slightly, going on the outside of the track there. So we will try and catch the start replay shortly. But Huge Jar back on the exit of the corner once again as well, and picking up a 1 second off throttle penalty up front. In front though is Izzy versus Siam. Izzy round the outside and getting a little bump in the rear then for his troubles, as we have the Daft Punk livery of Siam getting some attention from newcomer Creamy, or at least newly gamer tagged driver Creamy, who is trying to slot into 4th place. Will he leave the door open on the way into SA corner? He tried to close it. Siam already fairly committed there into the corner, and there's contact on the way through SA corner. Hopefully the drivers can sort that one out, and I think Siam has released him back in the narrowest of margins he could possibly get away with, and legitimately claim to have given the place. Back up front though, it's Mr. Fish and Bongit who are disappearing from this grid as the rest of the cars filter through. We'll see them down into turn 1, and I'll see if I can try and get that start replay to you as Creamy leads this group of cars. Izzy in P3, Creamy in 4th now, ahead of Siam, and Huge Jar getting that penalty, so the drivers will start flying past Huge Jar. Astonishing in 7th place, moves on through. So does Aussie past Huge Jar. So Huge Jar going from basically 2nd down to at least 10th as we head down into Curve 1 then. And Huge Jar very much on the defensive up front. In front of this group though, Aussie and Astonishing go side by side, and that is a very familiar number 54 NASCAR livery with the Monster Energy drinks company as the main sponsor. Jim coming through the corners, and we continue to go side by side down in towards that left-hand corners, and I'm going to give a tremendous nod to Jim for that brilliant Sony Interactive livery. And I thought I recognised the graphics there. One of my favourite games of all time was SSX Tricky. Bongit leads. Let's have a look then at if we can try and get what happened at the start underway. Here we have a multi-wide situation going down into the corner. That was Huge Jar off onto the right hand of the circuit. Lots and lots of contact as the 54 deciding to just see just how many times he could get tagged in the rear on the way through the corners. But that was how that main gaggle navigated through the portion of the first few meters of this racetrack. Aussie down though to 8th position, Huge Jar recovering to 9th, Jim in 10th, Kuros Kai in 11th. Got hard tyres on virtually the grid at the moment. Not interested to see what tyres the safety car is on, but Bonk is on the mediums and so is Mr. Fish. And those two drivers then disappearing at the moment. And there's some great pace. Izzy's in 3rd, then comes Creamy. Izzy on the hards, Creamy and Siam both on the hard tyres as Siam tries to nudge his way to some racing room here against Creamy. Taking completely different lines through the following corners. This is on board with Siam. We've got Thrasher in our mirrors, closing in the Lamborghini, but no way through for any of these drivers at this stage unless someone makes a pretty huge mistake into the Desida de Lago corner, the left-hander, into the second sector of the racetrack. Looking through the limited view angle of the Mercedes to the rear. That will certainly close up later on as the track gets darker. And Thrasher is all over the shop there, coming through the next section between the right-handers of Lauren Hinya and Essay, but he managed to recover. I think those hard tyres still not quite where he wants them to be. The low lumbering growl of the Nismo in its NASCAR team livery is Aussie. He's on the medium tyre, our Canadian, and then back to astonishing on the hards, and Jim running in the Peugeot RCZ, RCZ I suppose I should say, with this audience, and then closing the door to Kuros Kai, who really didn't need to do any of that because they were coming they were going to get past regardless. Huge Jar then making up a position as we see Sully and Kuros Kai fighting hard. This is the Ferrari of Sully for Team Predator. And I'm not sure again what natural Animal Kingdom Predator this is showing, but it's not one famed for its grip into Curva 1 anyway. And the bright chrome of Sully glinting off the hood there. And let's have a look at that pirouette, that full 360. That's the kind of thing that Jim needs to be doing for the SSX tricky game. Pulling off a 360 gnarly ollie, perhaps, as he goes through. But Sully then really struggling on the hard tyres at this point. And Huge Jar, I think, waiting for Sully, feeling bad maybe, or making an error himself. He's got damage on the front of the car. Here is Huge Jar, the Ferrari tipping around, and boom, straight into the barriers. Wow. It's not going well so far for Team Ferrari, for Team Predators in the 44 there. The 44 on the Ferrari, very appropriate at the moment, but unfortunately down in 11th and 12th positions, Sully and Huge Jar at this stage. We've got Bongit for Team Pollo Loco and the Jollibee livery, 3.9 seconds ahead of Mr. Fish, racing in the Daft Punk Mercedes for Team 404 Motorsport. I don't know if the musical theme is around the defunct company of Napster or something like that for Daft Punk, or whether Daft Punk have officially retired as a music act. I'm pretty sure 404 Motorsport, the theme behind that, the reason behind the name, is that it is companies that are no longer with us for this season, and we look forward to seeing all of the livery options as they present themselves. Team Van der Vaart are running in P3 at the moment, with Izzy at the wheel, and then Creamy. We don't know what Sony Interactive game he was representing today. Unfortunately, he's gone all white in the Peugeot RCZ, and leading Siam and Thrasher as we inch our way through towards that safety car period. Now, I'm pretty sure I was told it was lap 17, and please confirm if I'm remembering what I told you all myself earlier on. I think it was lap 17. So the drivers with less of a difficulty to get through to the end of that period than perhaps the GTD Pro drivers had, the medium drivers especially. I wonder if the drivers have wasted a set of hards and will end up two-stopping on the second portion of the race, and they have to switch. Compound here. Looks like Siam has a good run. No, Aussie, I should say, has a good run coming up the hill. He's got the triple toe advantage here on the way in towards curve 1, and he draws fully alongside, and that's all done on the brakes from Aussie. One black and green car ahead of a second black and green car, but the different teams being represented there, and that was a great manoeuvre then from Aussie on Thrasher, and worked hard for the overtake to live with the dirty air on board his number 54 wearing NASCAR Nismo. I don't think Nissan have ever entered NASCAR, have they? But Gareth cheering on Siam here, and Bongit pulling a Nismo and not being inclusive, says Larry. Indeed, not playing fair to anybody else. Maybe Mr. Fish is he's playing fair with, but they remember on the medium tyres, and most everybody else on the hards at this stage. Great battling going on here. Really good close running for P4, 5, 6, and 7, and Creamy very defensive then into the right-hander of SA. Siam is snaking around, couldn't quite wrestle control for a moment of his Mercedes AMG, and it's one of those cars where it very easily goes wrong on you. As Zen saying, Bongit and Fish on the medium tyres. Yeah, and it will swap post-safety car, says Zen, which is absolutely true. Here comes Aussie then. Consecutive laps where Aussie is on the attack, coming up the hill and over the start-finish line, and he's got the inside line once again. Aussie down the inside. I apologise for the camera angles here at Interlagos. We're kind of missing one camera angle at the mid-corner of curve 1, but Aussie makes it through like a pro that time round. Let's just follow him on board on the replay as he goes diving down the inside. Siam left the door very much open there, and really not fighting it very hard at all on the way through. Aussie will try and make it 3 from 3. 3 overtakes in 3 laps, I think, on his way to bring those medium tyres really into a good position here. The drivers around him all on the hard tyres, but as Zen was saying in the chat, he will take the pain later on the hards post safety car. However, that is the larger proportion of our race, so I think that might be the smarter choice. Could be that the drivers starting on the hards are giving themselves a two-stopper to contend with today, or they're going to have to limp around and be really, really careful on those mediums. So running through is Aussie, and he's almost got the inside line heading into Yun Sao is Aussie. There is such a thing as being too close, and he almost overcommits to the corner. Let's watch this attempt then, maybe from on board, from the driver's point of view then for Aussie, and running up the hill we go. Will he be given the inside line again? Yes, indeed. And this looks like it's going to be relatively straightforward. He's got the inside. Creamy dives to the outside, but looks like it's going to be straightforward enough as he parks it on the apex again. And we'll see how this looked off board as he gets that inside line against Creamy. Down we go, and then Creamy stuck on the outside line. Doesn't want to overcommit to the outside because he could leave the door open to the cars coming behind. Had a good run there here out of the corner, and we'll just try and rejoin that live and see if he got back past. I think there might have been an issue going on there because Siam has gone through against everybody. Let's join him on his chase cam. So he goes wide, anticipating a problem for these drivers, ends up going all the way around the outside. Aussie with the tank slapper on the inside line, and that was perfectly judged from Siam. I thought he was probably planning a cutback, but ending up just walking around the outside of these drivers. So Aussie did make it 3 overtakes in 3 laps, and then unfortunately has dropped a position, so he's got to do it again, but he has made it past all 3 of these drivers he's racing with, so it shouldn't be too difficult on the medium tyre here for the Canadian driver repping the classic 54 livery of Team NASCAR in the GTR Nismos. And look at this, he's already almost through before the exit of Yonsal. So it could be that he ends up giving a slipstream up to Siam. Siam has tucked straight back up underneath the diffuser of Aussie, and it is a tall racing car, that NASCAR, and it's a low slung, very aerodynamic body shape of Siam's Mercedes, notwithstanding the opening grille, the mooring mouth, and lots of good battles, says Zen. This is very, very good. So there goes Aussie back again through into P4, making it 4 overtakes in 4 consecutive laps, but only on 3 drivers. Can he navigate to Interlagos with a bit more ease this time? He can. He's managed to make it, I think, there, Aussie, with wearing that front right more, as Siam goes around or stays around the outside, I should say, of Creamy. That's a slow route around the outside of the corner. Creamy going through the inside. I have to be quite careful with Creamy's game attack, and I would put in a request for a change. I don't want to say anything too problematic on the channel. Astonishing. He's got a Sony PlayStation helmet on, and he's racing for Team Vandervaart here at the moment, so I'm going to question that being on brand. But yeah, really good racing at the moment between these 4 particularly. We'll have a quick catch up after this run through Sector 1 with the rest of the field. I don't want to give too much of the screen time to these drivers. Siam looks like he's got an opportunity here on Creamy. Dear, oh dear. Yes, that game tag is problematic, to say the least. Hopefully, he just is really into his daring. Running out of the corner, not really getting the drive here in the Mercedes on the hard tyres is Siam, and it looks like up front Aussie is starting to gap this group as they continue to battle and navigate the hard tyres through this period. So yes, I think we are on for lap 17 for the safety car and the caution period. I think that's going to be challenging for the drivers to get through the latter half of the race then on the mediums, but we shall see. Maybe the mediums are just a much better tyre overall. That looks like a matte black finish on the Thrustmaster sponsored Thrasher, and some Jamaican colours here for the Lamborghini for Team Builder Racing. No Team Builder, no obvious sponsorship or title sponsorship here for Thrasher's Lamborghini. I wonder if that's another failed livery, but I don't think the matte black is a standard livery here on the car. So let's just have a look then. Behind them, Astonishing is starting to catch in the Audi R8. Then we have the second of the Team Builder Kuroskai. No, I'm wrong, am I? No, it is Team Builder Kuroskai and Thrasher, but they are referencing Cool Runnings for an unknown reason at the Interlagos race. Jim is in 10th in the SSX Tricky EA Big livery from the fantastic game I used to play a long time ago. Hughes Jarrett 11th and Sully in 12th. Bad day for Ferrari at the moment. It must be the water, as Bongit leads by 7.1 seconds in the Jolly Bee Team Polio Loco colour scheme, and they've got a crazy chicken on the hood as well. Love it. Mr. Fish for his Team 404 Motorsport, trying to keep Bongit honest, but really not much going on at the front of the grid at the moment for the medium runners. First of the hard runners is Izzy, and yes, he is, and he's going to be in a good place later on, able to use the soft tyres, the medium tyres later in the race, as long as they last well enough. Obviously, there's a big difference in the way the tyres handle and last on the different cars. So strategic options are somewhat affected by which car you are driving. And I think this is the battle to be watching then, as Siam continues to try his best to make a pass on the Peugeot RCZ of the Sonar Interactive creamy car. Have to see, it's plain white. It's not even a cream colour on Creamy's car here. And we look for an opportunity then on board the Mercedes AMG of Siam. Felt for a moment there like we might be getting a little bit of lag on Creamy's car from this perspective anyway. You can see the Daft Punk Electronic Music Act being the main sponsors for Team 404 today. I'll have a look at those liveries in fine detail later on. But here is Thrasher in the Thrustmaster sponsored Lamborghini Huracan. Rohan's here for Mr. Fish, it seems, although he could be here for the Team Predator, because it was one of the Ferraris is a Marine Predator, I believe. Not Predator the movie, Predator, the Apex Predator classification of animals, and I think mostly marine fish and mammals that we're looking at for the season. Although I'm at a bit of a loss to explain quite what they're up to with their liveries this time round. I probably should have watched the video that Comacopa shared, so you can go ahead and do that on a second screen and see what the justification is for the 4 different liveries on Team Predator this race. See him once again with a good run here. Just have a look at fuel loads. I think no one's going to struggle, I don't feel, to make the safety car lap. So they need to pit, I believe, at the end of lap 15, or the start of lap 16 through end of lap 17. Pit lane will be closed for the safety car period, so they have to come in if they want to get that cheaper pit stop. I don't think any of our GTD drivers are running their fuel particularly to fumes by the 17th lap. Full tank of fuel should do half a race easily here at Interlagos, because we race for 1 complete hour here. And, then the checkered flag will be waved. So Siam once again, Creamy somewhat leaving an opening, but Siam just in the wrong part of the racetrack to capitalise. Astonishing is now catching this group, so fans of the Team Van der Vaart, the new German entry, will be very enthused by that. And then we have a good run then for a good battle going on for P9. Huge jar in the I want to say the Ferrari. Yes, in the Ferrari in front of Kuros Kai and Jim. I think that the Ferrari has had a livery problem. Kuros Kai with a big problem stepping out onto the grass on the exit of Yun Sao. They've got to expect that that Jim will have a good run up the hill here in the Peugeot. Unable at the moment to capitalise. All these drivers on hard tyres though, as they come through. Huge jar in 9th, Kuros Kai in 10th, and quite why Jim wasn't able to catch and pass there. I'm not entirely sure. Rohan said, not in the know, just tried to be cool with the fish. Excellent. Okay, so you are here for Mr. Fish, which is great. And doing the correct thing, which is to lead with fish emoji. So there's the first of the Ferraris for the Team Predator. Here is the almost blindingly bright Sully entry at the back of the grid here in GTD for Team Predator in the Ferrari. As I say, we'll get a really good close look at this later on. I guess we've given you a hugely close look at it going through Desierto del Lago. We wait for our safety car to come out for the lap of lap 17, and we're hoping that we get a slightly smoother safety car introduction to the racetrack. 8.2 seconds separates Bonget and Mr. Fish at the front of the grid, but a total of 24 seconds separating, 23 seconds separating Bongit from Izzy in P3. Here he is, the Wunderfeld driver in the Audi. Ozzy's in 4th and really gapped and distanced himself from that battle for 5th, led by Creamy, and Siam in 6th with Thrasher behind. Astonishing catching, but not sufficiently to really pick up the toe over the course of that previous lap. 37 minutes remain of the 60, and I think we will go for one more complete lap before the drivers will choose, I think, to pit. So there is the personal best as the fuel is coming off for Siam, and the hard tyres still have plenty of life left in them. Hard tyres would do a 2/3 race distance at least, I would think. Yeah, with the current setup. You get a really good idea of how sweet that Audi sounds as it goes past our camera position. Look out for the off-throttle flames that spit out the rear of this R8. Here is Siam then once again, very, very close. There is Mr. Fish into the pit lane off his medium tyres. Should be in a good position later on, I think, to get the tyres comfortably home. Whoa, Siam sliding through Yun Sao. And then we wait to see if the drivers will now pit. Mr. Fish pitted, Bongit did not, neither did Izzy at the end of lap 15. These drivers going for track position as Thrasher goes in and waits, and his crew are waiting for his visit. A personal best from Astonishing on that lap. He'll be pleased with that one. So I want to say that I remember correctly with it being lap 17 for the safety car. So I think the drivers who are on their tyres at the moment are possibly waiting for a post or during safety car period here to pit, because Thrasher, Kuroskai, Sully all pitting on this run through. Huge Jar will hope he's pitting with that crinkled front left and the huge penalty he's got on the car on his outlap here, so he must have crossed the line on the way through the pits. Waiting for the tyre change to be actioned here for the safety car driver. Not quite sure why we need a second set of tyres on our safety car, but we often do. Bongit is catching Huge Jar here to put a lap on the Team Predator Ferrari driver. That has got to hurt. Do we get Chaotica coming out, and he's joining behind one of the drivers here? That might be Kuroskai, I'm not entirely sure. In front, Huge Jar coming round. Will Bongit be able to pick up the safety car? This is a carbon copy of the situation that we saw earlier on. There is Chaotica a little bit late out of the pits, and Bongit just about being picked up in time. And let's have a look then at these liveries. Remember, Bongit has not pitted off those tyres. This is the Jollibee El Pollo Loco livery today. Chicken Joy, they promise us, and clearly Pollo Loco are going to be doing different chicken restaurants for the or takeouts, I should say, for the course of this season, which is a very cool approach. I do like that. This is the Wunderfeld Team Audi livery. Lots of German Easter eggs on board here. There is Duolingo. The drivers are clearly learning German for their team. And there's the 130 mark crossed out. That is the lack of speed limit on the Autobahn, on certain sections of the Autobahn anyway. Car number 102. This is the classic NASCAR Gibbs entry for the Monster Energy number 54 for Team NASCAR in the Nismo. Nothing really to say about this one for Karimi, unfortunately, and Daft Punk are being represented for Team 404 Motorsport today in the team's liveries on the Mercedes AMG. Astonishing, same livery then for the team. And then this, one of my favourite games of all time, SSX Tricky, snowboarding cartoon-esque game from the EA Big Sony Interactive game catalogue. Absolutely love it. I don't think I should go back to playing it because I don't tend to like retro gaming as such, but it's a very fond place in my memory. Mrs. Webbo, it's a mixed emotions about SSX Tricky. She loved it, but felt like she spent way too much time on it as well, and rused the amount of her life she spent learning tricks on EA Tricky. And then here is the slightly confusing Lamborghini livery. Very different approach to the Team Builder livery. In fact, this is almost referencing more towards the Sony Interactive, the Olympic Esports Series livery here. Appreciate the Webbo Com sticker, but I'm going to need a little bit of help decoding what's going on with the Lamborghini and what should be the Team Builder livery here for car 87 and his teammate. Izzy's pitted from third position. Yes, Jamaican livery, says Kurt Morris, absolutely. But how does that tie in to Team Builder? Is Team Builder Jamaican? I don't fully know. You can just see Wunderfeld on the roof here of the Bierwagen for the Audi R8. But as I've said many times before, roof stickers are somewhat wasted on us here because we really can't enjoy them to a great degree. Mr. Fish has the lead of the race because Bongett stayed out and pitted after the safety car instead of prior to the safety car. I'm not quite sure on that one. Maybe he feels like he couldn't get a full tank of fuel to a finish, but we've just passed that, or just approaching the livery. Thrasher has binned it in the safety car period. We're going to have to embarrass him further by seeing that one again. Cold tyres? Possibly. Confusing, certainly. And we couldn't be going around this corner at a slower speed. I'm really sorry, Thrasher. But that's a bad one from Thrasher. Unfortunately, he drops down to 5th position, hands a freebie to those guys. Larry's saying there's a secret reason we can't discuss yet why it's called Runnings. Good stuff. Okay, thank you. Well, let me in on the secret at some point before the end of the season or before you change liveries. Here we go then for the final half of our season opener here at GTD, and we are green flag racing once again. Mr. Fish ahead of Izzy, ahead of Mr. Fish's teammate Siam in the Mercedes, and these drivers now on a mixture of those tyres, hard tyres for Mr. Fish at the head of the group. Izzy and Siam restart the race on the medium tyres and should be racy at the start of this stint anyway. Bongett, your previous leader of the race, drops down to 4th place. So picked up a good safety car period, but not a perfect safety car pit stop. That was possibly a little bit of contact between Fish and, I think, Izzy on the way through Desira del Lago. Let's wait and see. I'll perhaps go side on here if I can. There was contact. Izzy had to then delay. Siam almost picks up a place, does he, on the way next through the corners? But Izzy continued to fight that one harder than I thought he would, given that he made the contact. And it looks like, unfortunately, Mr. Fish has a penalty, is off the circuit. And I think that's Siam, or someone else has a penalty as well. Izzy into 1st position, muscular, pushy, and now the Mercedes are queuing up to disappear off the circuit right now as Mr. Fish picks up another penalty, unfortunately, as they head through the corners. Bongett is into 2nd place. The last thing this field needed to do was to let Bongett have a bunch of free places. Up into 2nd places goes the Canadian in the Honda NSX, creamy up to 3rd on the medium tyres, as is Siam and Thrasher. This is absolutely appalling restart there for the drivers, for the Mr. Fish, sadly. And I know he's got a lot of people watching today, so that is particularly difficult for him. Mr. Fish dropping down all the way to 9th place. Sully is behind in 10th with Astonishing and Jim for company. But at the front of the grid, it is Izzy on the medium tyre, perhaps in a better position here than Bongit for the final portion of the race. However, Bongit, remember, in qualifying on the soft tyres, had a gap of half a second on pace. Can he unlock that with fuel on board, with the track rubbering in but cooling off as the sun starts to set? It is lap 20. We went for 37 in the GTD Pro, and the tail runner of that 13 car field only just made it to complete the final lap of the race before the checkered flag came out. So I wonder if the slightly slower second tier drivers will go to a 36th lap only, or maybe some of them certainly will, I feel. But again, we go back to the usual suspects from this race. Creamy Seam, Thrasher, and now Huge Jar, all locked together. Huge Jar was quick in qualifying. He was quick off the first lap, but it all came unglued earlier on. But of course, the beauty of the caution period we have here in Deviant Racing is that a safety car means the race isn't ruined in the first half. The slightly downside of the safety car is that the first half of the race is relatively unimportant before the safety car comes out. But that's American racing, and that's endurance racing. So you kind of just have to make sure you're still there at the end with a competitive setup to go for it. I like the fact that Kuroskai has gone for something slightly different on the side of the car. We'll try and look at that in more detail later on, but much more clear that it is Cool Runnings, although I don't believe that Cool Runnings bobsleigh crew from Jamaica use Thrustmasters particularly inside, but Kuroskai picking up a half-second penalty running off the circuit there momentarily. He's still got his I can probably say now, Ninja Turtle helmet on there, his Michelangelo Ninja Turtle helmet. So an update to helmets needed, I think, across the board here for our new season. Izzy leads us on lap 21 with 25 minutes to go. And Creamy on the medium tyres is catching Bongit. These drivers behind Bongit are going to have to be exceptionally careful on those mediums to get all the way to the end. Gareth says, I look away, where did Fish go? Well, certainly, yeah, had some problems on that restart and ended up down in 9th place initially, now back up to 8th place, but really let Bongit very much off the hook here. Bongit taking the post-safety car option for his pit stop was not quite as advantageous as pitting prior to the safety car. You may feel he's got more fuel and tyres to finish the race out on though. Bongit with still more fuel on his Honda NSX than Izzy in the Audi in front of him. Izzy, remember, racing in VR, that is no mean feat. Certainly harder than racing, and with less information on the screen than racing on a flat screen. I say this as a VR driver, and if you are into your VR racing, stay tuned on the channel, because we'll be walking straight on in towards a VR GT3 race. There's a great overtake from Aussie as he gets the place back from Mr. Fish, who is not keen to let that one go. Doesn't quite make the apex either on the way in. And there's certainly trading paintwork between the Daft Punk and Monster liveries here. Here comes Aussie to the inside. I think that felt like a pretty fair overtake. Mr. Fish trying the cutback that I don't know was really on in that respect. There's a hint here potentially that Mr. Fish is getting a little bit desperate, having lost positions. I wonder if the red mist has descended on our fishy friend. And as we know, fish are friends, not food. Kuroskai runs through, comes out of Yun Sao, and might get the opportunity to pass Aussie here. He's not. He doesn't need to be particularly gracious here to Aussie. If he has contact with the car in front, that's no business of Kuroskai's, other than it presents an opportunity, perhaps, to him. Astonishing in 11th, Jim in 12th. The field still pretty tightly together after the caution period, as Izzy has a 2.3 second lead with 22 and 3/4 minutes before the checkered flag will come out. Here is Thrasher and Creamy fighting over a provisional podium position at this stage of the race. Thrasher flashing the lights then. Call him Flasher instead. I think that is still having the lights flash. They are definitely flashing those lights on the way through. Sometimes that's a controller driver. I don't think Thrasher is, but sometimes that's pressing L3 by kind of pressing the steer stick down too hard. Sometimes it's definitely a decision the drivers are making to put off their rivals. One of the tools that they've got. They've also got horns in the car. They could beat their horns if they wish to. Creamy third, Thrasher fourth, Siam fifth, and Huge Jar in sixth place as the sun is setting here at Interlagos. No real threat of rain, it seems, at this stage. You never know in Interlagos. You could absolutely tip it down, but unfortunately, Gran Turismo have not yet deigned to give rain effect to any race in the Americas so far. So Europe and Asia and Oceania are given the rain, but not the Americas at this stage. Here is Thrasher on board as he has a look for an opportunity down into Desierto del Lago. Wasn't close enough, but continues to pressure Creamy. Behind, we've got the threat of Mercedes AMG, Siam behind us. Mr. Fish now closing in on the back of that group, I think. Whoa, lots of steering lock going through SA corner. Now into Pinarino. And Thrasher just a little bit too close, really, at that point. And there, Siam has caught significantly as we have a look up from the back of Creamy's RCZ. And Thrasher flashing the lights. There, once again, flashing the lights. Huge Jar running wide. Needs to avoid that one again. More penalties, and there it is. The penalty for Ferrari driver picked up. Let's see if we can get a toe on the back of Creamy's RCZ. So Thrasher and Siam continue at full pace. Huge Jar, I don't think yet has taken the penalty. Certainly within striking distance here. A late lunge it would be. Yeah, there you can see Huge Jar having not taken his penalty. As Thrasher tries to get a good line, but unfortunately opens the door to Siam coming behind. Siam had no choice really there, but to try and take advantage of that opportunity. As they went down, you can see Thrasher taking a narrow line initially, and then trying the wide cutback, but Siam just takes the invitation, essentially. Unfortunately, doesn't help either of them make it through the corner and challenge Creamy. And that's kind of the point of what they were up to. Lap 25 here, and we are two-thirds of the way through our tremendous race at the start of this season 4.2. Mr. Fish is in 7th place with Aussie running in 8th. He also now has a penalty. Kuros Kai. Let's have a look, because Kuros Kai will get past Aussie comfortably. There is the side of the car, you can see, celebrating the Cool Runnings movie. I wonder if they had a stock sticker ready for that, or they had to make it themselves. As Cool Runnings, are they wearing Senna helmets? The Cool Runnings team. They do look like they're wearing Senna helmets. They are wearing Senna helmets. Okay, that's pretty good class then from the team builder, repping the Jamaican colour scheme, Thrustmaster sponsorship, and celebrating the famous Jamaican bobsleigh team there. That would be a favourite, I believe it's Lewis Hamilton's favourite movie actually, Cool Runnings. So it's got good racing pedigree, I should say. Izzy, P1, leading by 1.8 seconds. Bonger's pace yet to be revealed really here on the hard tyres. I wonder if it will be on its way, but the gap is really opening out then to P3, which is partly down to the fact that Creamy has had to be on the defensive quite regularly here, as we ride then at the back of this group with Mr. Fish on the recovery. He'll be hoping that that podium is still within reach here. I know he brings a really good Fish supporting audience with him for his races. Grateful for his promotion of the races as well. Getting quite a lot of apex through that corner. Mr. Fish indicating left as well. All not well on board that Mercedes, you have to say, in the second half of this race on the hard tyres. Doesn't like this compound half as much as he enjoyed the compound on the medium. So you can see Huge Jar with a really good run then out of Yun Sao. Could potentially be about to launch an attack on the teammate for Team 404 Motorsport, Siam. Wow, that was a very open door from Siam, but I think decided he was already going to lose the position, so trying to get the run of all runs coming through the Estel Senna, now into Curva del Sol, and hot on the heels of Huge Jar, but Huge Jar managing to get the car through that section much better perhaps than Siam was hoping, but then kind of leaving a very large gap to the apex. Here comes Mr. Fish to try and scythe his way through the field. Just keep swimming, Mr. Fish, as he goes down the inside line. Yes, that's into Laranjinha, Ferradura. Laranjinha next, and that is a much shorter route then in towards another right-hander of SA and Mr. Fish, indicating left, but going the right way here to potentially picking up a position. But how's that from Huge Jar coming back at him, and Mr. Fish defending hard into the right-hander of Bico Di Pato. Let's see if we can catch much of that sequence. Mr. Fish already having made it past, and then looks like Huge Jar, as Mr. Fish protects the inside, Huge Jar puts 2 wheels on the racing line and 2 wheels off it. Couldn't quite get the comeback on the car. And here is Siam then with a better run out of Yun Sao. Huge Jar on the medium tyres. He still needs to protect those. They've got to go a long way still home. It's lap 27, another 9 or 10 laps. Now it's lap 28, of course. See him on the inside line here, heading into the corner, and Huge Jar roles are reversed, and essentially the net effect is that Huge Jar has dropped 2 places since this same time 1 lap ago. Good run for the Ferrari. We saw it previously how much better it was through Curva del Sol, down the Mercedes AMG. Potential move coming on the inside. Siam's going to tiptoe his way around the outside here, and then running off on full throttle, coming through the corner, not quite full throttle. That is risking a penalty though. There it is. Oh dear me. Once again then from Curious Sky, there's a car with a penalty in front. Tell me it's not Mr. Fish. No, thankfully we're okay with that group. Izzy leads Bongit, and Creamy then further back in front of this group, as it has been for some time. Floody cheering on Izzy, so that's nice to see for the team Van der Vaart. Huge Jar in 6th place. Siam will drop off this battle thanks to going off track through Descida del Lago. GT7 gives you absolutely no credit for the fact that you lost place or lost time going off the circuit. If you're full throttle, they are going to punish you no end. Here comes Astonishing in the Audi. Should be able to pick up that position quite easily. Siam will close the door, or try to, on the inside line, and Huge Jar pits. Then with, I think we're going to have 7 laps to go. Any battle up front? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. Izzy Bongit is closing, but I don't think he's quite there. Let's just reassure you, Zen. But no, I think still a decent gap between the two. I will keep my eye on them, don't worry, as much as I can. Further back, Creamy and Thrasher. It's now just a 2-way battle for the podium. The final podium place, P3. Mr. Fish dropping back with Astonishing and then Siam. Then we've got Curious Kai and Aussie coming through. Jim in 10th. and at the back of this group, Sully in 11th place now. Huge start, out of the pits, on some soft tyres, across the line on entry. It's all going wrong for him as we check out what's happening with Bongit versus Izzy. 1.4 seconds. Hard tyres on Bongit's car. They're still sliding around on throttle on the way out of Yunsao, and Izzy leads the race then as the beautiful sunset continues here in the fantastic Interlagos circuit, the home of the Brazilian Grand Prix, but much more Brazilian touring cars, and do get GT3 racing and endurance racing going on here as well. It is a very busy race calendar for the locals in Sao Paulo. Hi to Biggerwood joining, I think, in anticipation of the next race to come, which is with SVR in the G1 lead GT3 group. We are heading straight over to Daytona for an hour's racing in the G1 division. Qualifying will be getting underway pretty soon, and hopefully they will hang on for me before the turning on the lights and then turning them off again. Thrasher, whoa, that's a big slide coming through the second part of Descida do Lago for him. Just letting Creamy getting away here. Creamy on his debut with us. Certainly first time I've seen his gamer tag in our group for the GTD. Second tier GT3 races here at Deviant Racing League. I did refresh the link today for the Discord, so the link in the description should work if you would like to join Deviant Racing League. And you can also join my channel as a member on a regular basis, or send a tip my way using the thanks button if you would like to. As I've been given a few likes on the video right now, I appreciate that. Mr. Fish off again, looking ragged, looking very ragged out there, and it's these hard tyres on the Mercedes and not his friend. Oh, just to add insult to injury, a half-second penalty for going off track. That really sucks for Mr. Fish. Thrasher's in the pits then, couldn't get the car home on the tyres, or possibly it was the fuel. Well, no, the rear right and front right both looking a little bit suspect for him. I wonder if that's going to be the case for Izzy. I think he's got the fuel to finish off as that glorious Audi exhaust note roars past our camera. Izzy with well, in a situation, I love his choice of helmet design. I hope you can see it closely enough there. It's a PSVR2 helmet right there. So if you were in any doubt, thanks to his gamer tag, you do know, obviously, that he is a VR driver. This would be great, actually, for the VR community to see a VR driver take a victory, especially given Bongit's half-second pace difference in qualifying. But that gap is now dropping to the point where Bongit can potentially start thinking about launching an attack, or certainly using the slipstream, as we will join him on board and wait here. Floody saying late pits, woohoo. Let's see if that trend continues. We have 10 minutes to go. I don't know if my SVR audience could communicate that to the G1 discussion channel. I'd be very grateful. And hopefully we will be able to get the stream started quickly. I've got quite a lot to change over for the stream, so I hope everyone will just be patient enough with me here. This is on board with Bongit. One of the two Canadians in the field. I believe Izzy is Colombian, but races under the United States flag. 8.5 minutes now to go before the checkered flag. Hint of a little slide there on board Bongit, and that's getting all crossed up coming through the next part of Descida do Lago. So that is giving a slight advantage back to Izzy. That's nearly half a second loss there. And that's crazy. Thanks, Biggerwood. Appreciate it. You've almost made up for nerfing me in our last race together. Check that out. My last week's league race for SVR in the very bottom division at Daytona. We did last Sunday. The VR POV of that race is on my channel if you haven't already seen it. I am trying to league race for the first time in my life, and it is proving very, very challenging indeed. What I should have done is hook up a heart rate monitor to my stream, because last race I think I would have peaked at a worrying level for any cardiologists out there. We have astonishing just 1 second behind Mr. Fish. We've also got a close battle going on here for 6th place between Aussie and Siam, as I keep my eye as much as possible on the front pair on the track map, even though it's a very small very small track map. Again, do stay on the channel, because you'll see our Hector race display being shown, and some really interesting features. If you haven't seen it before, so do stay on the channel for the next upcoming race very soon, probably straight into that. Here is Siam a long way around the outside, and evidence that this Mercedes is, if people didn't know already, one of the trickiest cars to drive consistently around this circuit and many others, as the Predator Ferrari of Sully in P9 comes through in the decreasing light conditions at the moment. Kurt Morris cheering on Bongit for Polio Loco, and huge jar in the Ferrari for the Predators. Thrash is in 11th, Kuros Kai at the back of the grid right now, so not a good day for the Lamborghini entry for Team Builder Racing. Yep, sorry about that, Kuros Kai. Went straight into that situation, didn't we? Dear me. The gap at the front is back to under a second. What can Bongit do then as we head through? Let's join him maybe on the hood as we go through. Can we see any headlights behind us? We can see a plane landing at Sao Paulo International, but no headlights behind us. Nothing really to worry us too much. And this angle then helping us to light up the rear of that Audi. As Larry, I think, in a roundabout way agrees with me, it's a difficult car to drive. Is he breaking the toe? As Garrett says, stop showing off for the camera. Yeah. He did at least recover it. Siam pits then from 8th position, and we are seeing some late pit stops. Look at the tyre wear on board Bongit's NSX. It's not that dissimilar to Izzy's car here. Izzy's, I feel, only hope here to hold on to the win is to stay on these tyres. I think if he pits, it's all over. So if he can block the apexes, block the entryways into the next corners. That looks threatening from Bongit in the NSX Polio Loco in the Jollibee livery. Let's see if we're getting anywhere then with those great tail light arrangements then of the NSX as well. Great look at the flames licking out the tail. 4.5 minutes to go as we are finishing lap 34. I think that will make it a 37 lap race then for at least the front group for us here. Please confirm on the live chat if you can. Izzy breaking that toe once again, trying to stop the slipstream effect, but Bongit looming ever closer as they head through to start one of the final laps here in the offing, with fewer than 4 minutes remaining. Headlights ablaze. The stars are out then to enjoy the culmination of the first race of season 4.2 here with GTD and Deviant Racing League. It's lap 35. The favelas and the tower blocks around Sao Paulo. No one is home. Everybody's at the track to watch this race, I think, because there's no lights on any of the buildings trackside. Great battle then to a finish. It's great to see the lead of the race still contested right to the end. It looks like we've got a pass going on here for the final positions on the track. The fight over what we call here in the UK the wooden spoon, the prize given to people finishing at the bottom of whatever a tournament or race with multiple contestants. Here is Bongit then, half a second only away from Izzy as they come through. with just over 2.5 minutes to run. They'll cross the line. It will be a 37 lapper then. Bongit possibly looking for an opportunity down the inside. Is it a late lunge? It's certainly a late move. Izzy gives him racing room on the inside. That gives him the impetus. Going through the Estel Senna, and he nabs the lead once again. They were level pegging on the way through as Bongit has a slightly more compromised line down the Reta Reposta. Can he do it though? Bongit peels across to the inside. Izzy not buying any of it. He himself then pulls a block move across to the inside. That might be frowned upon because he was the second one to make the move, but he holds on to the lead at the moment. I think Bongit would love to make the pass on track as Izzy defends the inside into Ferradura, but not too much. Does he open the door though? In the way through Laranjinha, it's not quite there either, as Bongit, I think, might have made contact with the rear end of Izzy's Audi R8. Let's have a look if that did in fact happen, as we will run here on the hood cam as we go for the wide line into Ferradura. Try the cut back into Laranjinha. Do we end up making contact on the way into Essie? No, it was just a snap. It was just a snap on board the Honda momentarily there as we run to finish out lap 36 of the 37. The hour mark approaches, and for some of our drivers in the field, it will be the end of the race at the end of this lap. There is just 1 minute to go. Actually, maybe they'll all make it round. Here comes Izzy then on the inside this time. Roles are reversed as Bongit goes around the outside. What can Izzy do? We stare at an empty track because that's what the camera system works here at Interlagos. Bongit all over the shop going through the next corner. And I think losing time as a result. I'll try and get a replay of that, but I want to make sure that we don't get a lunge going into the next Descida del Lago. We don't. So let's join. This is Bongit's chase cam POV round the outside. Izzy giving him just enough room, but not an inch more. And then that was an expertly well handled defense from Izzy. In the end, Bongit unsighted heads over the exit there, and the apex of the next corner. It looks like Izzy is gonna get there. Let's just check where the rest of the drivers are. I cut to Kuros Kai, who is still sliding with 7 seconds to go for the end of the race. Looks like those two at the back are going to finish in the order we found them previously. See him ahead of Kuros Kai to cross the line, but here is the battle at the head of the field. What can Bongit do? Can he get close enough to drag race up the hill to finish out the race? They are racing on the smallest amount of fuel, especially on the Honda NSX, who actually took on more fuel, or at least took on a full tank at the end of the race. They make contact through Yun Sao. I'm not sure how that's going to sit with the stewards post-race, but Bongit goes into the lead of this one to finish out the race. Well, there's a question mark for me on how that was handled coming through, but maybe he felt quite aggrieved on the exit of Curva del Sol. Here we go. I'm not sure. I think Bongit will keep that one overall. I think that's going to be okay because Bongit in the end takes the win on the line ahead of Izzy racing in the VR. Mr. Fish crosses the line to recover into 3rd place. That's a great recovery from him and astonishing in 4th place. Aussie will come through to finish out in 5th. Creamy in 6th. Jim in 7th. Just with Huge Jar. Who's going to make it to the line here? Creamy will get 6th place. Will Jim, who took time at the back of the grid throughout the course of this race, manages to just get 8th place. No, Huge Jar got him by 71 thousandths of a second. Sully finishes 9th. Thrasher came home in 10th. See him ahead of Kuros Kai. Wow, that was crazy finish. Fair move, says Gareth. 100%. Yeah, I just, because I saw it from a different camera angle, I just wanted to raise the question. But that is your provisional results then for the finale of this season. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Don't forget that tips are open here on the channel, or you can also check out my merch line, which is available from my Linktree link in the description as well. But thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned on the channel for the start of the next race momentarily, But we will see you in 2 weeks' time for the next 2 rounds of the Deviant Racing League GT World Challenge. Thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next race day.